Salmonati Academy is a prestigious institution where ambitious young adults from across the continent gather to unlock their true potential. Each student arrives with their own dreams, driven by a strict meritocratic system that rewards talent and effort. However, those who fail to meet the Academy's high standards face merciless dismissal. Nozomu Bounties, our protagonist, reflects on his 2 years at Salmonati Academy. He recalls entering the school alongside his childhood friends, leaving everything behind without regret to pursue their dreams. Before entering the academy, Nozomu's closest companions were Ken Knotts, his lifelong best friend, and Lisa Hounds, his inseparable lover. Their bond was unbreakable, especially after Lisa and her family moved into their small village, deepening their connection. Their village was a peaceful farming community nestled on the outskirts of a small country, known for its fertile land and friendly ties with a neighboring kingdom. Despite the steady supply of food, life there moved slowly, lacking any real excitement. One day, a shy girl nervously approaches the boy fishing by the water, asking if he's free to spend time together. Caught off guard, the boy's heart races as the shy girl asks if he's free to spend time together. She introduces herself warmly as Lisa Hounds, explaining she recently returned to the village after her father's unexpected passing. Despite her past travels with her mother, she now hopes to find comfort and friendship here. The boy listens intently as Lisa shares about her father, an adventurer who traveled the world despite the great dangers involved. Though captivated by these tales, he admits he never felt the urge to risk his life for adventure like the heroes of the past. Though it was their first meeting, the boy and Lisa quickly lost track of time sharing stories of heroes. Their bond began simply as childhood friends, but as they grew into their teenage years, their relationship deepened into something more. She reveals her decision to leave the village and attend Salmonati Academy, determined to follow in her father's footsteps as an adventurer. The boy listens, stunned by her resolve and the weight of her choice. With newfound courage, he asks to join her on this journey, unwilling to let her face it alone. The boy's sudden resolve shocks Lisa, who worries about the consequences for his family. He reflects quietly, admitting his own simple farming background and the likely fierce opposition from his father to his decision. Despite this, he feels compelled to stand by her side. With fierce determination, he vows to support her dreams no matter the cost, pledging to accompany her on this daunting journey. Lisa's eyes widen in shock, overwhelmed by the depth of his commitment. Overwhelmed with emotion, she tears up, whispering her gratitude and joy for his unwavering support. Their bond deepens as they share a heartfelt embrace, ready to face the uncertain future together. Their heartfelt embrace lingers, a silent promise of unwavering support. As the moment fades, he lies back, gazing thoughtfully at the sky, the distant chimes pulling him back from his daydream. The country was once ravaged by a devastating demonic invasion, marking humanity's last stand 2 decades ago. To prevent such a catastrophe from happening again, a school was established, funded jointly by every government on the continent. As a beacon of hope and preparation, admission is open to all willing participants, with students evaluated solely on their academic performance, promising a prosperous future to those who graduate. Once a top student, he now finds himself shunned by his peers after falling behind in class. In this school, grades dictate social standing, and those who slip start to receive outcast treatment, marked by the black name tag, the lowest rank at 10th place. The protagonist walks through the hall, drawing cold stares and harsh whispers from his classmates. They sneer at him, questioning why a supposed dropout like him hasn't left yet, mocking his weakness and urging him to just give up already. Their cruel words hang heavy in the air, isolating him further. Despite the harsh insults and dismissive attitude from his classmates, the protagonist remains silent but visibly tense, sweat dripping down his face. Their cruel words sting, labeling him as worthless and urging him to quit. Yet he endures their scorn without breaking. The weight of being seen as bottom-of-barrel trash presses down on him. But he still shows up, refusing to give in. Mars Dickens, a fierce student known for his quick temper, stands confidently with a group of peers, feared by many. He picks fights with anyone who provokes him, regardless of their rank. As the lowest-ranked student, the protagonist is often Mars' prime target. Mars and his friends mock the protagonist for staying silent, cruelly pointing out that even his childhood friend has abandoned him. They taunt him as a little baby, trapped in a meaningless dream, trying to break his spirit with harsh words. Despite their insults, the protagonist's intense gaze reveals a flicker of determination beneath the surface. Mars erupts in anger as the protagonist continues to ignore his taunts, slamming a book down violently in frustration. The classroom falls silent, all eyes on the tense confrontation, while the protagonist remains on the floor, steady and unyielding despite the chaos around him. Just as Mars lunges forward to strike, a commanding voice cuts through the tension. Enro steps in, his stern gaze demanding an explanation for the outburst. Caught off guard, Mars stammers a clumsy excuse, claiming he was only trying to help the protagonist improve. Enro coldly orders Mars back to his seat, dismissing the chaos as a waste of his precious time. Mars retorts defiantly, refusing to be silenced and mocking Henry's authority, while Enro smirks, admitting his long tenure as a black-rank teacher has frayed his patience. The tension between them crackles as their sharp words fill the silent classroom. Enro firmly commands Mars to meet him after class, then slams a book shut to signal the end of the disruption. With a sharp tisk, he quickly shifts the focus back to teaching, starting the lesson on the fundamentals of magic. The lesson delves into the origins of magic, explaining that ritual magic was initially used as an offering to the gods to bring rain for crops. It's described as a method that requires a large number of magical elements, and while ritual magic is one of the two modern methods, the other is chanting magic. The instructor announces that tomorrow's lecture will focus specifically on ritual magic, with experiments planned to produce specific magical results. Enro coldly dismisses Nozomu bounties from participating in the upcoming ritual magic experiment, deeming him barely a black-tagged student and a waste of time. Despite Nozomu's insistence that he'll be there, Enro orders him to stay out of the way, openly insulting the rest of the black-tagged students as useless. The tension rises as Nozomu struggles to hold back his frustration. The red-haired princess, Lisa, earned her nickname through outstanding academic achievements, quickly rising to the top with unmatched determination. In contrast, our hero admits he never had the same scholarly drive or experience, especially with the sword, and struggled to live up to the high expectations placed on him as Lisa's lover. Despite the spotlight demanding he match her excellence, he felt overshadowed and unable to keep pace. Despite the overwhelming demands and unrealistic expectations, he refused to give up and kept pushing himself forward, with friends and Lisa by his side. He was determined to grow stronger and honor his promise to support her. Yet, deep down, he acknowledges that those past struggles no longer hold the same weight. The hero's progress suddenly halted, and the people around him grew increasingly hostile, bullying him relentlessly. Despite feeling as if a massive handicap had been placed upon him, Lisa remained steadfast, training alongside him in hopes of reigniting his growth. Their bond had grown stronger than ever during that summer at the academy, fueled by mutual determination and support. But suddenly, everything came to an unexpected halt. With a heavy heart, Lisa declared it was time to stop, bidding a painful goodbye. He recalls how she never once showed frustration, always standing by him with unwavering support. Her smile, full of warmth and encouragement, contrasts sharply with the shock and disbelief now etched on his face. The realization of her quiet strength hits him deeply, leaving him stunned. Without warning, a cruel rumor spread throughout the school accusing him of cheating on Lisa with another woman. Despite his earnest denials, no one believed him, and the falsehood tarnished his reputation completely. Meanwhile, Lisa was idealized as the red-haired princess, admired for her beauty and skill, while he was dismissed as a hopeless underachiever. Isolated and friendless, he endured relentless bullying from Mars and others, some even resorting to violence. Despite Lisa's cold, hateful stare when he reached out to her, he pushed himself to the limit, studying and training until he could barely move, determined to keep the vow he made. Ken, the protagonist's calm and gentle childhood best friend, once stood on equal footing with him. He frequently joined their training sessions and quickly became known for his unprecedented rapid growth and skill. Their bond and shared dedication to improvement remain a key part of the story. After comforting Lisa through her heartbreak, he and Lisa naturally began dating, their bond growing stronger, though it broke his heart to see her smile so brightly beside him. Their connection was undeniable, even during training. Their teamwork was unmatched, clearly dominating all other pairs in mock battles. The realization hits him hard. He no longer holds a place in her heart. As he watches the joyful connection between her and Ken, the weight of his solitude sinks in, leaving him with a profound sense of loss. The instructor announces that today's lesson will involve pairing up for mock battles, with partners assigned personally to avoid complaints. Students are allowed to use any combination of physical, magical, and chi enhancements, but are strictly forbidden from killing each other. The atmosphere is tense as the training begins under these strict rules. The lesson dives deeper into the nature of chi, a form of magic that enhances the body's physical power and movements, contrasting it with traditional magic which relies on divine power. Both forms coexist within the Arkmill continent, especially in Arkazam, home to the prestigious Salmanati Academy. This city serves as the frontier of magical study, where all ancient magic excavated from ruins is gathered, actively studied, and passed down to students like our hero. A confident, armored student strides up to our hero, calling him bottom-line trash with a smirk. The tension between them is palpable as the newcomer declares their forced partnership. Ready to get the mock battle over with, our hero meets his gaze with a calm, determined expression, bracing for the challenge ahead. The confident student swings his unique sword with precision, showcasing its power and origin from an island country. He explains that while their school uniforms are enchanted for combat, many students wear extra armor. Something he personally avoids. Our hero watches silently, a mix of contemplation and resolve in his eyes as the challenge intensifies. The confident student reveals his katana, explaining its deadly precision in cutting and stabbing. A weapon rare among students and prized for its craftsmanship, he admits relying less on magical enhancements, instead trusting the blade's quality and his own skill as a swordsman. This sword perfectly matches his fighting style, making it his weapon of choice despite its uncommon presence on the continent. The confident student taunts our hero, dismissing him as worthless and a waste of his time. Despite the insult, the protagonist remains focused, determined to prove himself. With a sharp command, the fight finally begins as the confident student lunges forward, initiating the clash. The clash erupts with fierce intensity as the confident student's katana meets the protagonist's blade, sparks flying from the impact. Both fighters shout battle cries, their determination fueling the rapid exchange of strikes. The protagonist's quick reflexes allow him to slice through an incoming attack, turning the tide of the duel. The confident student sneers as he launches a powerful strike, smashing his blade down with overwhelming force. Our hero narrowly dodges, sweat dripping as he focuses intensely on the incoming attack. The student taunts, "Too slow, filth," fueling the fierce momentum of the duel. With lightning speed, the protagonist counters the overwhelming strike, slicing through his opponent's blade. The clash echoes sharply as both fighters lock eyes, their fierce determination burning brighter than ever. The duel reaches a critical turning point, each move more intense than the last. Both fighters leap forward with fierce battle cries, their blades raised high as they prepare to clash once more. The intensity of their duel surges, each determined to overpower the other in this critical moment. With a fierce roar, the student swings his massive blade in a devastating arc, shattering the ground and forcing the protagonist to dodge with lightning reflexes. The clash sends shockwaves through the air as both fighters push their limits, the battle escalating to a brutal crescendo. The protagonist counters with a precise strike, cracking the opponent's weapon as the intensity of their duel reaches a fever pitch. The protagonist's counterstrike shatters the opponent's weapon with a sharp "bang" sound, momentarily stunning him. The rival taunts with a fierce grin, urging the hero to give up and end the fight already. Despite the pressure, the protagonist's eyes narrow, focusing intensely as he taps into his inner chi. The rival unleashes a powerful magic that draws on his own life force, enveloping him in a fierce aura. This forbidden technique dramatically boosts his physical strength, making him an even more formidable opponent. The protagonist braces himself as the enemy charges forward with overwhelming force. The rival, fueled by his forbidden magic, launches a devastating strike that crashes into the ground with explosive force. Our hero swiftly dodges, poised and ready to counter. The enemy snarls, declaring he must discipline the protagonist himself. The rival charges with a fierce battle cry, swinging his sword with overwhelming power. The protagonist meets the attack head-on, their blades clashing violently with explosive force. Sparks fly as the intense duel pushes both fighters to their limits. The protagonist lashes out with a powerful strike, shattering the ground and forcing the rival to stagger back. Sweat beads on the hero's face as he struggles to maintain his stance amid the chaos. Frustrated and desperate, the rival yells for the protagonist to get out of his way already. The rival roars in fury, unleashing a relentless flurry of strikes, demanding the fight end now. The protagonist braces, blocking and dodging each fierce blow as the clash intensifies. With a powerful punch, the hero strikes back, sending the enemy reeling from the impact. With fierce determination, the protagonist swings his sword in a devastating arc, smashing through the enemy's defenses and sending him crashing to the ground. The rival screams in pain as the impact echoes around them. The battle reaching a critical turning point, the hero's eyes burn with resolve, ready to press the advantage. The rival's fury explodes as he screams a brutal curse, desperate to end the fight once and for all. The hero counters with a fierce strike, shattering the enemy's weapon with a powerful clash that echoes through the battlefield. Both warriors are pushed to their limits in this relentless clash of wills. With a fierce swing, the hero sends the rival flying through the air, his broken weapon clattering to the ground. Despite the harsh blow, the enemy struggles to rise, coughing and snarling, clearly far from defeated. The hero's sharp gaze cuts through the tension as he mutters, "God, you're an annoying pest." The hero, bruised and weary, reflects bitterly on the fight, calling it pointless as his rival collapses in agony, coughing and writhing in pain. Despite the harsh toll, the tension between them remains palpable. The hero slowly regains consciousness, surprised to find himself awake. A composed woman with glasses, introduced as Norn Altina, the school's doctor, watches over him with a calm, knowing expression. Their brief exchange hints at the fragile peace after the brutal battle. The hero explains he's feeling a bit lightheaded but is otherwise accustomed to the pain, while the school doctor, Norn Altina, assures him she's already treated his injuries and is here to help all students. Their calm exchange is interrupted by a cheerful girl bursting in, eager to know how he's doing. Henri Var, the cheerful and lively 10th class homeroom teacher, bursts in with a bright smile, instantly lightening the mood. Her warm presence contrasts with the more serious figures of the doctor and the hero, hinting at a close friendship that extends beyond the academy's walls. The cheerful teacher leans in close, asking how the hero is doing, but he awkwardly asks her to step back, feeling overwhelmed by her proximity. The school doctor reassures Henri that the hero's injuries, though painful, are manageable and will heal soon. Outside the window, students are seen leaving, signaling the end of classes for the day. As the hero prepares to leave, he thanks Dr. Norn and Henri before excusing himself. But Henri insists she's not done checking on him and has questions. When asked if he's still going to the forest, he hesitates, prompting Henri's worried expression. She warns him it's dangerous to go alone and suggests he join other students for safety, her concern evident. Despite Henri's protests, the hero abruptly excuses himself and rushes out, leaving her surprised and calling after him. As he disappears down the hallway, the narration reveals how Nozomu's troubles began with a mysterious ability he showed in his first year, leading to his fall to the bottom of the class and constant ridicule. Abilities are special skills that any creature can manifest, each with unique benefits. Yet, the Academy still doesn't understand why people receive them. In Nozomu's case, his ability suppression, is rare and doesn't help him at all. Instead, it severely hinders him. Though he can enhance his abilities with items, the effects never reach their full strength because his suppression ability constantly holds him back. This ability specifically targets his physical capabilities, leaving him with a permanent debuff that weakens any magic or chi enhancements he tries to use. Nozomu's mysterious disappearances after healing only deepen the concern of those around him, as he always returns injured and refuses to reveal where he's been, claiming only to have ventured into the forest alone. Despite this, he's slowly starting to open up, thanks to Henri's efforts. Though his guarded nature remains unchanged, his teacher, determined to support him, focuses on helping with his technique, believing that the bond between student and teacher can be more than just formal. Though not a swordsman, Henri acknowledges a moment when Nozomu nearly gained the upper hand by combining technique, magic, and chi simultaneously. Despite being untrained, Nozomu's abilities surpass those of regular students, showing great potential that only needs refinement. By their third year, even 10th-ranked students often reach the C stage, making Nozomu's progress both impressive and terrifying to witness. The doctor examines Nozomu's body, noting his perfectly proportioned physique and the countless scars that reveal a harsh and intense training regimen. Despite his admiration for the boy's resilience, the doctor admits feeling sorrow and even contemplates quitting, burdened by the harsh reality Nozomu endures at such a young age. The unusual nature of his condition weighs heavily on those who care for him. Though it seems Nozomu is pushing himself to the edge of his potential, there's a lingering hope that beyond the school's teachings, he might discover a path only he can forge. The scene shifts to the sprawling forest of Spasim, encircling Archasm, where Salmonadii Academy stands as a beacon of training and growth. The forest of Spasim teems with a wide variety of plants, offering both life and danger. While its richness benefits many, the forest is also home to powerful beasts that threaten those who enter. Every year, several people, students and ordinary citizens alike, vanish or perish within its depths, never to be seen again. The great city of Archasm, built about 10 years ago, is centered around the Salmonadii Academy, which serves as the city's auxiliary. Surrounding the academy are distinct districts, including the northern area reserved for political and administrative offices, and the eastern area housing the civilian district with dormitories and living spaces for the city's inhabitants. Only aristocrats and high-ranking personnel have access to the northern district, highlighting the city's structured hierarchy. The western district of Archasm thrives with artisan workshops where craftsmen from around the world refine their skills. To the south lies the bustling commercial district, a melting pot of global goods and home to the city's Adventurers Guild, offering students chances to take on jobs beyond the city limits. A dense forest known as the Forest of Spasim surrounds the area, with a highway connecting all districts within the city. Surrounding the city lies the vast, blank forest, a dense sea of trees where many who enter become lost. Once a buffer zone between two great kingdoms, it now stands as neutral territory with no ruler, inhabited by powerful magical beasts that rarely venture near the city or its roads. With fierce determination, the protagonist grips his blade with both hands, delivering a powerful strike that cuts through his opponent's defense. The clash is intense, showcasing his unwavering conviction in battle. The opponent launches a fierce kick, knocking the protagonist off balance and to the ground. Despite the blow, the protagonist quickly recovers, eyes sharp and ready to counterattack. The adversary, confident, remarks that the strike was still not enough, preparing for the next move. With intense focus, the protagonist unleashes Chi Instant Dash, a magical technique that grants him explosive acceleration, moving faster than the blink of an eye. His swift movement closes the distance between him and his opponent in an instant, shifting the battle's momentum. The opponent effortlessly dodges the protagonist's rapid approach, their blade gleaming as they strike with precision. With a calm yet fierce expression, they taunt, "You're too slow." As the protagonist narrowly avoids the deadly attack, the battle intensifies, the gap between them still wide despite the hero's speed. The protagonist activates Chi Phantom Blade, a technique that forms a phantom slash from compressed and dense chi. Though straightforward in execution, this move channels immense power into a single, precise strike. The protagonist unleashes the Chi Phantom Blade, a swift and versatile attack that surges forward with incredible speed, traveling dozens of meters the instant the sword is drawn. The compressed Chi blade slices through the air, shattering trees and catching the opponent off guard with its nearly invisible approach. This powerful strike is as unpredictable as it is deadly, pushing the battle to a new level of intensity. The protagonist, desperate, demands if his master is trying to kill him, but the master calmly explains that if he truly wanted to kill, the strike would have landed the moment the protagonist tried to escape. He warns that dodging the attack so carelessly could have been fatal, emphasizing the seriousness of their sparring. The protagonist's desperate dodge barely saves him as his master's blade sweeps dangerously close, cutting deep into the ground where he stood moments before. Panic flashes across his face as he realizes how close he came to disaster. Meanwhile, the master swiftly follows up with a precise, fluid strike, maintaining relentless pressure. The master launches a swift, powerful strike, forcing the protagonist to scream and leap back in a desperate counterattack. The force of the clash sends leaves flying and the ground cracking beneath them. Despite the intensity, the master remains composed, eyes sharp and focused. The clash of blades echoes sharply, catching the protagonist off guard as he realizes the gravity of the situation. His wide, panicked eyes meet the calm, resolute gaze of his master, who declares the fight over with a single, decisive strike. Exhausted and on the defensive, the protagonist braces himself, knowing he's on the brink of defeat. The protagonist admits defeat, breath heavy and spirit shaken. Before him stands Shino, his secret master, whose calm presence commands respect. She once ventured into these woods long ago to sharpen her skills, embodying the discipline and strength he now strives to attain. The master critiques the protagonist's last attack as half-hearted, revealing she easily anticipated his movements. Despite his protests, she dismisses the fight, insisting it's time for dinner and sends him to gather food. The protagonist nervously agrees, caught between respect and disbelief at her confidence. The protagonist, still shaken, decides to heed his master's warning and quickly moves to gather food before her patience runs out. Despite his doubts, he can't deny the subtle progress he's made under her watchful eye. As he navigates the dense forest, determination flickers within him, ready to grow stronger. The protagonist recalls his first encounter with Nozomu in a perilous part of the forest. Drawn by the sound of a blade swinging, hidden in the shadows, he watches Nozomu training alone, despite the danger posed by powerful beasts in the area. Curiosity turns to concern as he notices the harsh condition Nozomu is enduring. Nozomu's condition is dire. His pale, lifeless appearance and peeling, torn hands reveal the toll of relentless training despite malnourishment and joint inflammation. Though warned to stop, he pushes forward, driven by a desperate need to prove himself and escape the harsh judgment of others. His resolve is clear. He must keep training to earn respect, even if it means sacrificing his future. The protagonist realizes that Nozomu is destroying himself just to earn respect, driven by a brutal desperation. Seeing those lifeless, Clouded eyes reminds him painfully of a starving beggar he once met after leaving his hometown. Despite this harsh truth, the scene shifts back to the dense forest where Nozomu continues his relentless training. As the protagonist struggles to push away the painful truth, his focus is shattered by the sudden appearance of fierce demon dogs. Panic sets in as he realizes they're hunting Nozomu, forcing him to react quickly to protect the boy. The protagonist faces off against a pack of fierce demon dogs, man-eating beasts that, despite being low-ranked demons, can kill with a single bite. He worries that this overwhelming threat might be too much for Nozomu in his current weakened state, seeing these creatures as deadly as dragons to the boy right now. The enigmatic swordsman confronts the protagonist with a chilling smile, mocking his weakness and warning him that if he truly wishes to die, he should at least do so as a warrior. He insists that mastery of the sword is a prerequisite for an honorable death, challenging the boy's resolve amidst the fallen demon dogs. Over the past year and a half, the enigmatic swordsman has been training the boy relentlessly, transforming him into a formidable warrior. He demonstrates the Phantom Blade, a basic yet deadly skill that releases a sharp slash of condensed chi toward an opponent. Though simple in concept, true mastery can turn even the most basic techniques into lethal weapons. The swordsman boasts that his blade is so powerful it can cut through iron like paper, claiming mastery of the skill alone can defeat any opponent. Yet, he acknowledges that although Nozomu's blade lacks his raw strength, it matches in sharpness and density, considering Nozomu's sealed abilities. The swordsman admits it's only a matter of time before the boy surpasses him. The swordsman explains that Nozomu's suppressed abilities limit his progress at the academy, which focuses on students already possessing such powers. To compensate, he's trained the boy to rely on swordplay over chi control, honing his focus and strength. Yet, without building up his physical body first, Nozomu risks being overwhelmed by any opponent he faces. Nozomu's mind bears the scars of past trauma, driving him to isolate himself deliberately. Though he escapes reality through reckless training, it's clear he's also fleeing from his own identity and social anxieties. While avoiding society isn't entirely wrong, breaking free from this new reality is nearly impossible once trapped. Though unsure if he's fully qualified, the swordsman chose to help Nozomu by naming their training sessions The Escape. He hopes that by passing down all he's learned, the boy will one day break free from the chains that bind him. The protagonist senses an explosion nearby and suspects a beast-type demon is involved. Noting it's unlike the demon dogs he's faced before, he reflects on the rarity of people coming this far and decides to investigate the source of the disturbance. Meanwhile, an explanation reveals that magic is a centuries-old power using spirit-based forces, distinct from chi. Two massive demonic bears roar fiercely at each other, their snarling faces revealing sharp teeth and intense rivalry. The unique red fur marks them as a rare and dangerous breed, possibly brothers, as they travel together. An unusual sight for these fearsome creatures. As the monstrous bear lunges with a deafening roar, the heroine reacts with lightning speed, slicing through the beast's massive paw with a fierce strike. Meanwhile, the protagonist watches in awe, realizing the overwhelming strength it would take to confront such a creature. The heroine launches a precise, powerful attack against the roaring demonic bear, her movements swift and confident. The protagonist recognizes her as a top-ranked student from their school, far surpassing his own abilities. As she strikes, the intensity of the battle escalates, highlighting her skill and dominance in the fight. The heroine is revealed as Iris Dina Franzchild, known as the Midnight Princess, for her strikingly dark hair. Her intense gaze cuts through the chaos as she prepares to unleash her power. Meanwhile, a companion summons a wind blast, commanding it to soar and join the battle against the monstrous bear. Thema Lime, a renowned and immensely powerful mage from the academy, unleashes a swirling torrent of magic that overwhelms the battlefield. Her strength is so formidable that she already surpasses even the teachers in magical prowess. Witnesses call out her name in awe as her attack tears through the scene with unstoppable force. With a swift motion, the companion casts Wind Vortex, an intermediate-level spell that creates a slicing tornado of wind, tearing through the monstrous bear with devastating force. The sheer power of the attack sends debris flying as the enemy is violently struck down. This mage, known as the Minstrel of the Four Winds, showcases her mastery over wind magic in the heat of battle. Iris Dina Franzchild, a notoriously fatigued yet immensely powerful mage, stands among the elite at the top of the academy. Her raw magical strength is so overwhelming that she was able to knock down the demon without any enhancements or boosters. The protagonist is left in awe, questioning just how one's power can be so formidable, until a sudden roar breaks the moment. The monstrous bear roars fiercely, lunging forward with savage intent. The protagonist reacts instantly, leaping into action to evade the brutal attack. Meanwhile, the companion watches in shock, sensing the danger escalating rapidly. The monstrous bear charges with a deafening roar, its attack clashing fiercely against the protagonist's sword. In the midst of the chaos, Iris reveals her unique ability. She can cast powerful attacks and spells instantly, without the need for chanting. This rare skill gives her a decisive edge in battle, allowing for immediate and overwhelming magical strikes. The protagonist lets out a fierce battle cry as he leaps high into the air, sword raised, ready to strike the monstrous bear with full force. The tension peaks as both prepare for a decisive clash. The bear snarls, bracing for the incoming attack. The protagonist realizes the battle is far from over. There are actually 3 bears, not just one. As the monstrous creatures roar fiercely, he struggles to catch his breath, overwhelmed by the sudden revelation. Despite the shock, he instinctively prepares to face this new threat, while his companion watches with concern. The protagonist reflects on his current state, acknowledging that while his phantom blade technique resembles his master's, he is still far behind in power. He admits his body is pushed to its limit from an earlier mock battle, and that his chi abilities, though formidable, should not be underestimated. Despite feeling severely underpowered, he remains determined to keep fighting. The protagonist anxiously asks if she's unharmed, his concern evident. She quietly reassures him, denying any injury, her calm gaze meeting his. Grateful, he acknowledges her help, relieved that they and their friend remain safe. A mysterious figure hidden in the trees introduces herself as Iris Dina Franzchild. Thanking the group for their help, she reveals they are all second-year students at Salmanati Academy, even belonging to the same class. The protagonist listens intently as the shy girl beside him nervously stammers her name, Thelma Lee Lime, while Iris kindly explains her friend's skittish nature. The protagonist recognizes Iris as another student from the academy but feels conflicted about revealing his identity. He worries that, despite their current kindness, others could easily turn against him due to his reputation. He also knows Iris comes from a powerful family closely tied to the kingdom's royalty, making the situation even more delicate. The protagonist finally reveals his name as Nozem Bounties, admitting he is a second-year student in the 10th rank class. The woman listening responds with cautious skepticism, pointing out how unusual it is for a 10th rank student to be alone in such a place. She then presses him, asking where the rest of his party is. The protagonist's sudden admission that he's completely alone in this dangerous place shocks the girls, who exchange confused and worried glances. The woman's disbelief grows as she questions the reality of his solitary status, while he himself seems puzzled, struggling to grasp the idea that he has no party at all. The ranking system for adventurers in the Arkmill continent is explained, ranging from E to SS, serving as an evaluation of their skills. Iris and Thelma are introduced as 2 of the most competent A-rank students. The ranks are earned through completing graded tasks like defeating demonic beasts or creating groundbreaking research and inventions. The A-rank students are elite individuals, excelling as top-tier rangers, knights, or court magicians, with some skilled in strategic or economic roles. Only 5 second-year students have earned this prestigious rank, recognized for their rare ability to survive the dangers of facing demonic beasts. Despite this, our hero doubts why anyone would refuse to team up with him, believing his own presence to be undesirable. Despite being alone in the dangerous depths of the forest, he insists he's here to train, acknowledging his doubts about ever becoming truly strong like the others. He refuses to give up or accept defeat. His determination surprises the 2 A-ranked students watching him. The protagonist and Iris exchange apologies, easing the tension as they discuss the unusual sight of students so far from the guild. He asks how to address her, and she insists that formalities aren't necessary here. Iris then reveals they've come on a request from the guild, prompting curiosity about their mission. Iris reveals that the guild has reported sightings of a dragon, a legendary and immensely powerful creature. The protagonist's eyes widen in disbelief as the gravity of the situation sinks in. This revelation hints at an unprecedented challenge lurking in the forest's depths. The dragon is revealed as a legendary species of immense power, once rulers of all creatures in the world. Sightings are nearly impossible, and stories of anyone killing a dragon are almost non-existent, except for those rare few said to have actually done so, gaining the dragon's power in return. The protagonist learns that dragons are demonic beasts of immense power, feared even in smaller forms for their deadly attacks. Despite rumors being dismissed by many, the guild insists on investigating, knowing that no half-hearted hero could stand against such a threat. Iris warns that even she isn't allowed to fight if the beast truly is a dragon, underscoring the danger they face. The protagonist offers the materials from the hunt as a favor, suggesting the guild take it all instead of paying a price. Though surprised, the guild accepts some of the meat, and both parties prepare to head back to the city, exchanging thanks and well wishes for the journey ahead. The tension rises as Iris confronts Thelma about her unusual shyness. Pressing her to explain, hesitant and blushing, Thelma admits that the rumors about a man cheating on Lisa and playing around with women are true, and shockingly, it's someone close to her. Iris connects the dots, realizing the boy in the rumors is the one they know. Despite the accusations, the protagonist fiercely defends him, insisting he's not capable of such betrayal, leaving Iris conflicted and uncertain. Thelma admits she was scared, but Iris reassures her not to worry too much and promises she can apologize if they ever meet him again. Meanwhile, the protagonist hums cheerfully, unaware of the tension, until a sharp remark from a woman catches him off guard, hinting at his distracted state. The next day, Shino's bad mood leads to a double training regimen, showing the consequences of his distracted mind. The protagonist moves with breathtaking speed, his sword flashing through the air with precision and grace. The observer is captivated, noting the pure, honest quality in his technique and the clear, vivid impact of each strike. The moonlight streaming through the tall windows only heightens the intensity of this moment. The protagonist explains the unique qualities of mithril, a metal with a high affinity for magic that can accumulate magical energy over time. As armor, it surpasses others in both strength and flexibility. His sword, named the Silver Wings of the Evening Star, was crafted with his magic consumption in mind, making it a perfect protector and a gift from his father and swordmaster. A mysterious figure grips a rapier, its blade shimmering with magical energy. The sword, named Moonlight Eclipse, is revealed as the most powerful magical attack the wielder can unleash. The intense focus in their eyes hints at the immense power contained within this weapon. Chi and magic are both considered the source of the soul, with their power entirely reliant on the caster. While magic depends on the caster's mental state and harmony with their formation, Chi draws from the physical core, causing the two forces to often repel each other despite their conceptual similarities. The sword is said to counteract the natural repelling forces of Chi and magic, potentially cutting through even the toughest dragon scales. Despite this, the wielder doubts they could ever match the skill of the one who inspired them. Meanwhile, the protagonist realizes the danger of venturing alone into the forest at night, where demonic beasts roam freely. Only the most trained or desperate would dare such a risk. The next day, around noon, the sun shines brightly as our hero steps into a lively marketplace filled with chatter and bustling crowds. The warmth of the day contrasts with the calm determination in his eyes as he takes in the vibrant scene before him. Despite the lively atmosphere, our hero feels isolated and uncomfortable, despised by many at the academy. Struggling with both social rejection and financial hardship, he avoids the crowded cafeteria and opts to eat in the park. Though even that feels overwhelming, exhausted from double training sessions, he returns to the dorm with little energy to prepare a proper meal. As he sits alone in the quiet shade of the trees, our hero takes a moment to enjoy his simple meal, quietly reflecting that things could be worse. Suddenly, his attention is caught by a girl walking away, and he wonders if she might be a student from Eklos, the auxiliary school connected to the Salmonadii Academy that caters to younger children. Our hero recalls that Eklos is a school designed to nurture gifted children from a young age, often those born to higher-powered officials. He notices the girl seems a bit short for an Eklos student and wonders if she might have stepped on something, feeling compelled not to just leave her there. Gathering his courage, he calls out to the girl, asking if she's all right. Surprised, she turns to face him with wide, curious eyes. He then hesitantly mentions that she looks like someone he once saw before, and wonders why an Eklos student would be so far from the school. The girl nervously admits she was playing with Shadow during her lunch break when the cat suddenly took something from her and climbed up a tree. The protagonist spots a bracelet caught in the branches and asks if it belongs to her, deepening the mystery around the cat's strange behavior. Realizing the tree is tall and its smooth bark makes climbing difficult, the protagonist prepares himself for the challenge. He knows that in the forest, being able to climb tough trees is essential to escape monsters, and luckily, climbing is his specialty. As the girl calls out to Shadow to come down and return the bracelet, the tension rises with the cat's alert reaction. The cat suddenly lashes out with a fierce hiss, demanding the bracelet back as the protagonist reaches out to grab it. The tension escalates as the cat attacks, slashing fiercely and forcing the protagonist to dodge the sudden assault. The unexpected ferocity of the cat catches him off guard, turning the situation dangerous in an instant. The protagonist desperately shouts for the cat to stop as it fiercely claws at him, forcing him to dodge the sudden attack. The cat lunges aggressively, causing him to fall back in pain and surprise. Meanwhile, the cat's collar jingles ominously, hinting at a deeper connection to the mysterious bracelet. Despite the cat's fierce attitude, the protagonist grins determinedly, ready to face whatever comes next. The cat, with an almost regal disdain, flicks its tail defiantly, clearly unimpressed by the human's resolve. The tension between them crackles as the girl below anxiously checks if he's all right after the fall. The cat suddenly leaps off the branch, causing the protagonist to lose his balance and fall with a shocked cry. The girl quickly catches the cat, her eyes wide with surprise, as the protagonist lands roughly on the ground. He anxiously asks if the bracelet is unharmed, while the girl checks if he's okay. With the tension easing, the girl gratefully thanks the protagonist for his help, and they both confirm the bracelet is unharmed. She then introduces herself as Somiliana, or Somia for short, while he responds with his name, Nozomu Bounties, inviting her to call him simply Nozomu. Their friendly exchange marks a new connection forming between them. As Somia joyfully thanks him and insists he call her by her nickname, the protagonist reflects quietly that it's been a long time since anyone has thanked him so sincerely. Her warm smile as she holds the cat touches him deeply, sparking a rare moment of genuine connection. The sudden ringing of the bell startles them both, prompting Somia to urge Nozomu to hurry if he doesn't want to be late. She thanks him once more before rushing off with the cat in her arms. Watching her leave, Nozomu quietly accepts missing his own lunch, reflecting on the moment as the sun shines brightly overhead. A stern instructor introduces the concept of a magical altar, emphasizing its importance in spellcasting. He explains that by carefully following instructions and using verbal incantations, each student will create their own altar to channel their magical power. The class listens intently as the instructor details how the strength of their spells depends on their natural ability and technique. Mars stands out as a rare talent, excelling in both chi and magic at high levels. A combination almost unheard of. His unique dual proficiency sets him apart, highlighting the exceptional nature of his abilities. Despite his suppressed abilities and lack of magical skills, Nozomu tries to keep up appearances by attending class. Though he doesn't actively participate, the academy favors talented students, granting them more benefits, while Nozomu, who has missed many lessons, struggles to catch up and feels out of place. Meanwhile, others note Mars's rare talent, especially given his troubled past and status as a black tag. The academy's hierarchy grants higher-ranked students greater opportunities, including better supplies from adventurers on quests. As the intense training unfolds, a sharp-eyed observer notices a particular girl's skill, sparking curiosity about the identity of the person standing beside her. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock as he recognizes the girl beside the skilled fighter. Lisa, her confident stance and presence immediately command attention, leaving no doubt about her identity. The protagonist reflects on the vast gap between classes and training grounds, surprised to encounter her after more than a year. Despite being a 10th-ranked second year, he never expected to run into her again, especially after their promise to share futures. Her determined gaze reveals the weight of their past connection as they face each other once more. She moves with incredible speed, closing the distance in an instant. The protagonist's surprise grows as she counters with swiftly cast phantom bullets, forcing him onto the defensive. Their clash erupts in a flurry of strikes and parries, each testing the other's limits. She stands firm, unwavering against Lisa's overwhelming force, meeting each strike with calm precision. Using her own natural agility, she skillfully dodges the swift and deadly attacks, turning the tide of their fierce duel. With a fierce cry, she launches a powerful strike, breaking through his defense and forcing him to react instantly. The clash of their blades echoes as the protagonist realizes Lisa has gained the upper hand in their intense duel. His focused gaze reveals the growing challenge he faces against her relentless assault. The protagonist watches in disbelief as Iris strikes with unexpected speed and precision. Her sword movements fluid and confident. Doubt creeps in. Does Iris truly stand a chance against such relentless power? The sudden, powerful blow catches everyone off guard, leaving the protagonist stunned and questioning how she managed to land such an attack. The protagonist is stunned, questioning if she can truly use skills without the usual casting. The fierce duel intensifies as she fights with her sword while simultaneously casting magic, leaving everyone in awe of her extraordinary ability. Lisa expertly wards off the attack, her sword clearly enchanted as she fiercely wields it while using chains to strike at her opponent's feet. She cleverly combines her swordplay with magic, casting a black fog to blind her enemy and gain the upper hand. The protagonist watches in awe, realizing this battle is truly between two of the highest-ranking students. The two warriors relentlessly charge at each other, never yielding an inch as violent winds swirl around the arena from Lisa's fierce attacks. She creates afterimages of herself, confusing her opponent and intensifying the brutal clash. Suddenly, one of them unexpectedly pulls back, leaving the other momentarily puzzled by the sudden distance. With a fierce cry of enough, Lisa unleashes a devastating magical strike, creating a powerful vortex that tears through the battlefield. The protagonist watches in shock, realizing this attack rivals the legendary Wind Vortex, a spell so potent that even the strongest sorcerers rarely wield it. The sheer force of the blast shatters the ground, leaving no doubt about the overwhelming power Lisa commands. The aftermath of Lisa's overwhelming attack leaves the battlefield scarred and the protagonist in stunned disbelief. He struggles to comprehend the sheer magnitude of her power, questioning how she could be so incredibly strong. The intensity of the moment lingers as he grapples with the reality before him. The two warriors exchange words mid-battle, revealing that one has been preparing for the other's attack since the fight began. Despite the relentless and brutal assault, it took longer than expected to get ready. As the focus had to remain on defense to avoid being overwhelmed, the tension escalates as their swords clash fiercely, each determined to outmatch the other. The tension shifts as a calm, confident smile breaks through, accepting a compliment with quiet grace. A new revelation surfaces. Nozumo's former lover is now involved with Ken Nadas, adding a complex layer to the unfolding drama. The scene widens, revealing the trio standing together, their intertwined pasts and present relationships hinting at deeper conflicts to come. The protagonist reflects on the complexity of judging others without truly knowing them, while recalling the connection between two figures. Meanwhile, the focus shifts to the intense battle, where the protagonist laments not summoning a powerful attack sooner, realizing it usually takes time to conjure. Yet their opponent manages it instantly, leaving them in awe and confusion. The girl waves cheerfully, but the boy walks away without responding, leaving her confused and wondering if he just ignored her. As she stands alone, her thoughts swirl with uncertainty. Meanwhile, another girl approaches with a smile, offering a drink, which the protagonist accepts gratefully. The protagonist reflects on how watching classmates spar has become a regular routine, finding value in learning from their fights to improve their own training. As they observe the battle, a concerned voice calls out, sensing something is wrong with Iris. The girl quickly denies anything is wrong. Though her hesitation is clear, the battle rages on with swift sword clashes and magical attacks. While the protagonist watches intently, a serious expression on her face. Suddenly, a classmate calls out to her, breaking her focus with a question. The girl's serious gaze sharpens as she reveals the topic at hand. Nozomu's ability? Meanwhile, the protagonist looks up, caught off guard by the sudden shift in conversation. In the background, footsteps echo as someone approaches, adding urgency to the moment. Haunted by deep pain and confusion, the protagonist wrestles with feelings of betrayal and self-doubt, questioning why she continues to endure this torment. Memories of loss and struggle flood her mind, leaving her desperate for strength and clarity. Despite the overwhelming anguish, she remains trapped in a cycle of painful thoughts, unsure of why she hasn't given up yet. The protagonist reflects on the heavy chains of doubt and pain that bind her, preventing any progress despite her relentless efforts. She recalls the harsh words from her father and the twisted reality she now faces, filled with self-torment and unanswered questions. Overwhelmed by despair, she wonders why she endures such suffering and if her heart can bear it any longer. Haunted by his own sense of inadequacy, the protagonist admits to forcing himself into a harsh training routine as a desperate defense against his broken heart. Despite knowing it's a dangerous path, he pleads for help to push even harder. Suddenly, a startled figure catches a mischievous crow, breaking the tense moment with surprise and urgency. Nozomu suddenly catches the mischievous cat Somiya. Much to her surprise, she scolds him gently, explaining that the cat escaped during her afternoon training when the window was left slightly open. Despite the interruption, Nozomu prepares to leave, but Somiya urgently calls after him. Somiya shyly asks if they can meet again tomorrow, expressing her gratitude and desire to talk more. Nozomu, surprised and unsure, questions what she means by "see." The protagonist reflects on how rare it is for someone to offer kindness without bullying, while internally debating whether to accept her invitation or continue his strict training. Despite his hesitation, the protagonist agrees to meet during lunch, surprising Somiya and filling her with joy. As she rushes off, he calls out after her, still processing the unexpected invitation. Left alone, he reflects on her boundless energy and his own awkwardness in the moment. Under the starry night sky, a girl quietly channels a mysterious power, invoking the light of the sun that shines upon the earth. As magical energy swirls around her hands, the boy watches in stunned disbelief, overwhelmed by the unexpected display. The younger sister struggles with feelings of inadequacy, lamenting that she can't match her older sister's abilities. The older sister, confident and composed, reassures her warmly that she's doing wonderfully, brightening the younger one's spirits instantly. The 6 recognized elements, earth, fire, wind, water, light, and darkness, are explained, with the first 4 being common and the last 2 uncommon. Mastery of each element depends on one's connection to it. Though basic spells can be learned without affinity, the importance of general affinity grows with the complexity of the spell, as the protagonist nervously attempts a light-based spell called Torch, impressing her mentor. The older sister patiently explains the intricacies of light magic, emphasizing the need to control the energy flow and pace of chanting to maintain the spell's glow. The younger sister beams with admiration, clearly inspired by her siblings' guidance. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Iris, the older sister, specializes in darkness magic but is skilled in all elements. The older sister notices Somia's brighter mood and gently asks if something good has happened to her recently. Somia shyly admits she's made a new friend, sparking curiosity about this mysterious companion. As she describes how her friend, Shadow, retrieved her bracelet despite being sad, the older sister listens thoughtfully, sensing there's more beneath the surface. Somia reflects on Shadow's conflicted nature. Though he avoids others and seems troubled, he still helped her in a moment of need. When asked about her own recent encounters, she admits to meeting someone intriguing but remains uncertain about their personality. Noting their guarded and distant demeanor, her older sister senses something unusual about Somia's interest in someone so reserved. Somia describes the man she encountered during an investigation, amazed by how he appeared out of nowhere and swiftly cut through monsters with incredible precision. She admits that despite understanding the difference between magic and chi, she could never match his skill. Her sister, noticing her fascination, gently insists it's late and she needs to rest, teasing her for acting like a child. Somia reluctantly agrees to wait before discussing the mysterious man further, as her sister suggests they learn more about him together. As Somia heads to bed, her sister reflects on how small she still is, leading to a flashback revealing that Somia was born prematurely after their mother, who was ill, passed away during pregnancy. From a young age, she resolved to protect her sister and lead the Franselt family as its head, dedicating herself to mastering swordsmanship and sorcery. Despite the hardships following their mother's death, she pushed through every obstacle to meet her family's expectations. Standing now at the top of her class with unwavering determination, love and noblewomanly pursuits hold no appeal for her. Her sole focus is fulfilling her duty as the next family head. The protagonist reflects on the hard work and sacrifices that brought him to his current position. Proud yet puzzled by the false image people have of him as a villain who betrayed his love, despite clear signs of his support for her, rumors and cold shoulders surround him, fueled by misunderstandings and a mysterious rift between two inseparable people. He desperately wants to understand where this distorted story came from and why they suddenly drifted apart. The protagonist marvels at the immense training and effort required to unleash such a powerful attack, sensing the intense determination coursing through the warrior's body. Meanwhile, a lighter moment unfolds as two children, Somia and Nozomu, tease each other about growing up, highlighting their youthful innocence despite the harsh realities surrounding them. This contrast underscores the relentless struggle and growth demanded by their world. The protagonist reveals he's the lowest rank despite being a second-year student, sparking a conversation about life at the academy. The girl relates to his struggle, admitting she's still trying to keep up with her exceptional sister. Her smile hides a vulnerable determination, and the protagonist notes the unmistakable immaturity shining in her eyes. The protagonist quietly acknowledges the girl's strength, seeing a reflection of his own resolve in her. She smiles warmly, holding a black cat, as she explains the significance of her family's heirloom bracelet, a symbol of enduring connection and hope for reunion despite separation. Their conversation deepens the bond between them, revealing the weight of family ties amid their shared struggles. The girl explains how the bracelet, once locked away, was given to her by her sister as a birthday gift, a symbol that no matter what happens, they will always be connected. The protagonist reflects on the value of even small family ties, asking about her sister's birthday. Their conversation turns lighter as she excitedly shares plans for her sister's upcoming party, deepening their bond through shared hopes and family warmth. Just as they plan to get lunch, a new figure appears, catching them both by surprise. The girl's expression shifts to one of shock and recognition, hinting at an unexpected encounter about to unfold. The protagonist is surprised to learn that the woman before him is the sister of Nozomu, the friend his sister mentioned. As the realization sinks in, she reveals her last name, Franzchild, deepening the connection between them. The protagonist suddenly realizes the striking similarities between Somia and her sister, especially their matching black hair and the distinctive bracelet she wears, an item far too unique for a commoner. He berates himself for not connecting the dots sooner, despite having spent time with Somia. As the moment sinks in, Somia warmly invites him to join them, deepening the bond between them all. The protagonist is overwhelmed by Iris's flawless image. Her beauty, composure, and kindness make her seem like a goddess, utterly dependable and admired by everyone. He can't fathom why someone so admired would want to share a meal with him, a self-perceived loser, as they sit together. He worries how quickly word of this lunch would spread throughout the school if they were in a busier place. Despite his hesitation, Iris's cheerful invitation brightens the moment. Noticing his discomfort with the crowded public fields, she gently teases him, suggesting they eat somewhere quieter. Despite his hesitation, the group quickly agrees to find a peaceful spot, with Somiya warmly assuring that anywhere is fine as long as they're together. The mood lightens as they prepare to settle down beneath the trees. As they enjoy their meal beneath the trees, the protagonist asks Iris if her friend Thema will be joining them. Iris explains that Professor Jihad, the respected headmaster of Salmonadii Academy and a legendary swordsman from the war against demons, called Thema to his office and told her to have lunch without him. 20 years ago, the Great Demon Migration struck the northeastern lands of Ark Mill, sparking the catastrophic event known as the Great Invasion. This disaster claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and forced a massive wave of refugees to seek safety in neighboring countries. For the first time in history, all nations united, sending vast armies to confront the overwhelming demon hordes and ultimately managing to repel the invasion. The demon invasion left widespread devastation, with entire countries falling and countless refugees flooding the shattered cities of neighboring lands. Though the immediate threat was gone, many nations struggled with civil unrest and the overwhelming aftermath. The scale of destruction was so immense that people questioned whether the world could ever truly recover. In response to the devastation, leaders established Salmonadii Academy, a sanctuary where refugees could live and train as the next generation of defenders. Each country pushed forward with their own research, developing new combat styles and advanced technologies. They also created Alchasm, a central hub for collaboration and innovation, uniting efforts to prepare for the inevitable future invasion. The girl reassures the boy that he doesn't need to worry about Thema, sharing a lighthearted moment as she reveals her sister's surprising preference for dogs despite thinking cats are cuter. The boy reacts with a mix of surprise and amusement at this unexpected detail. The girls continue their playful debate over which animal is cuter, with one passionately defending dogs, especially puppies, while the other insists cats are the best, pointing to the affectionate way her cat Shadow purrs and follows her around. Meanwhile, the boy watches in bewilderment, wondering what exactly they're arguing about. The playful debate finally winds down as the boy sheepishly apologizes for getting carried away. The group agrees to pause their endless cat versus dog rivalry, joking about the countless times they've argued before. Then, shifting gears, the boy reveals how he and Somiya first met, through his incredible feat of slicing through a demonic bear in under a second, leaving her stunned and speechless. The boy humbly denies the praise, explaining that despite his impressive blade skills, he's actually the lowest-ranking student due to his suppressed abilities. He reveals that his magic is so weak he can only attack once with the amount he has, and he's had to push his physical limits to compensate, since his powers lack any chi enhancements. She probes deeper, connecting the dots about his limited magic use and asks why he doesn't join a party. He admits the harsh truth. No one wants to team up with him because of his suppressed abilities. The girl gently tells him that strength isn't a requirement to join a party, especially since his knowledge of the Spossum Forest is valuable. She reassures him that his wisdom alone would make him a priority for any group. The boy, surprised, asks what makes her think that. She points out that spending the night in the Spossum Forest is no small feat, as it's a perilous place crawling with demons where only the most skilled survive. Despite this, Nozomu has stayed there many nights, even though the forest is known as one of the safest spots because a dragon-class adventurer lives there. She presses him, asking if his reluctance to form a party stems from his breakup with Lisa or the hostility he faces from other students. Then, with a serious gaze, she challenges if there might be yet another, deeper reason behind his isolation. She narrows her eyes, pressing him with a serious question about the deeper reason behind his isolation. Memories of painful confrontations and rejection flash through his mind, weighing heavily on him, despite her firm tone. She admits she doesn't know the full truth and refuses to jump to conclusions. Without a word, he turns and begins to walk away, apologizing softly to Somiya as he announces he'll be leaving first. Her surprised expression lingers as she watches him disappear into the forest, a mix of concern and unresolved feelings evident in her eyes. The quiet woods seem to swallow his retreat, leaving her alone with the weight of his departure. Somiya learns the harsh truth that Nozomu is widely disliked at the academy, treated as a worthless nobody due to his lack of success. Despite this, the protagonist quietly rejects this shallow judgment, revealing a deeper understanding of Nozomu's broken heart and distrust. He reflects on how Iris, who once stood at the pinnacle of social circles, could never truly grasp the extent of Nozomu's isolation. The protagonist admits he underestimated Nozomu's struggles and regrets his earlier words. Realizing an apology is necessary, encouraged by his companion, he resolves to make amends the next time they meet. Yet, despite this resolve, he feels the need to channel his pain into training, using it as a way to cope and regain control over his emotions. The protagonist realizes that Lisa wasn't the only one to abandon Nozomu once the rumors spread. Most of his friends turned their backs on him without hesitation. Despite this painful truth, he masks his turmoil and insists that preparing for the final exam isn't a problem, trying to convince both himself and others that it's nothing to worry about. The protagonist's intense gaze reveals a sudden realization or determination, catching the attention of those around him. His friends exchange surprised looks, sensing a shift in his demeanor. Meanwhile, a calm figure sits quietly nearby, observing the moment with composed curiosity. A familiar voice breaks the tension as Camilla Vuet-Tucknose, Lisa's first ever friend at the academy, greets Nozomu with a calm smile. Despite the years apart, her sharp gaze and blunt words quickly remind him of the distance between them, questioning his presence at the school and making it clear they're no longer close. The protagonist's surprise is evident as he struggles to respond to this unexpected reunion. Once a close friend, she was the first to harshly reject Nozomu when rumors began to spread. Despite his countless efforts to prove his innocence, every plea was ignored, leaving his heart to freeze and sink deeper into despair. Now, with a sharp glare, she demands to know his purpose here, forcing him to confront the pain of their fractured past. Nozomu struggles to steady himself, admitting his emotional turmoil and desire to reconnect, but his tentative greeting is met with a cold, unwavering rejection. Camilla's piercing gaze and harsh words leave no room for reconciliation, as she firmly orders him to stay away, deepening the rift between them. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock, his heart pounding as the weight of rejection sinks in deeper. Meanwhile, the group's leader steps forward, her expression cold but resolute, warning him that if he refuses to leave, she will take matters into her own hands. With a heavy sigh, he accepts the harsh reality and quietly decides to walk away, retreating from the place that once held so much hope. Just as he turns to leave, a sudden, forceful shove knocks him to the ground. The angered woman lashes out, shouting that he's blind to how much Lisa is hurting and branding him a traitorous idiot, her fury cutting deeper than any wound. As he sits on the ground, the weight of the harsh words and rejection crushes him. His head bowed in silent anguish, the pain is so intense it nearly overcomes him, his clenched teeth revealing the depth of his inner torment. A single tear escapes, capturing the raw, unspoken sorrow he struggles to contain. Driven by a sudden surge of emotion, he breaks into a desperate run through the forest, propelled by the weight of his pain and the harsh words still echoing in his mind. Gasping for breath, he pushes himself up and cautiously surveys the dense forest around him. His compass needle spins wildly, confirming his fear. He's being led deeper into the woods, far from safety. The unsettling realization sinks in as he grips the compass tightly, uncertain of what lies ahead. Our hero realizes that the compass is malfunctioning for the first time, likely due to the presence of numerous demonic beasts in the forest. He knows he can only stay hidden briefly in this barely safe spot, and decides to build a shelter and wait for the fog to clear while gathering his senses. Suddenly, something catches his attention, prompting him to look up in surprise. As he stands alert, gripping his sword, the forest around him grows eerily silent. A sudden noise breaks the stillness, and his eyes narrow with suspicion and fear. He braces himself, heart pounding, as unknown footsteps approach through the underbrush. Our hero wipes sweat from his brow, bewildered by the strange scene before him. He can't shake the feeling that something is off. This place doesn't seem like Alicasm at all. Confusion and suspicion cloud his mind as he surveys the unfamiliar landscape. From the shadows emerges a colossal, menacing dragon, its scales glistening and eyes burning with fierce intensity. The hero stands small and vulnerable on the rocky ground, staring up in awe and dread at the overwhelming beast descending upon him. The air crackles with tension as the monstrous presence looms closer, signaling a deadly confrontation is imminent. The colossal dragon's terrifying form dominates the sky, its sheer power radiating in every scale and wing beat. The hero's wide, unblinking eye reflects the overwhelming force before him, a stark reminder of the impossible odds he faces. This creature is not just a beast. It is the embodiment of absolute power itself. The hero's breath catches as he confronts the impossible. A dragon. A creature lost to history and legend, now alive before him. This legendary presence exudes an ancient power that defies belief. As the dragon's wings flap, the tension escalates, signaling that the battle is about to ignite. The dragon crashes down with earth-shattering force, sending debris flying in every direction. The hero scrambles to dodge the falling rubble, desperately trying to find cover. Realizing the danger, he knows there's only one option left. He has to run. In a swift, practiced move, the hero flicks a small explosive device, an escape tool from his forest days, toward the dragon. The device detonates with a powerful blast, sending smoke and debris flying as he dashes away. His sharp glance locks onto the dragon, calculating his next move against the overwhelming threat. Driven by the light that led him here, the hero leaps into action without hesitation. The dragon's roar pierces the air as it lunges fiercely, jaws wide and teeth bared. With a swift, desperate motion, the protagonist dives away, narrowly evading the deadly strike. The dragon unleashes a devastating roar, a powerful blast capable of striking down humans with sheer force. In the next instant, the destructive wave surges forward, shaking the ground and threatening everything in its path. The hero's eyes widen in shock as the dragon's fiery blast tears through the landscape, sending a massive, blazing projectile hurtling forward. The ground trembles violently beneath the destructive force, and the hero is thrown into the air by the overwhelming shockwave. In the eerie silence that follows, all sound has vanished, leaving only the devastation in its wake. The hill where the dragon landed has been utterly obliterated, transformed into a massive crater large enough to hold the entire Salmonati Academy. Our hero is thrown violently through the air, caught in the aftermath of the devastating impact. The scale of destruction is overwhelming, leaving nothing but scorched earth and ruin. The hero crashes to the ground but quickly recovers, wiping blood from his mouth as he prepares to face the looming dragon once more. The massive beast spreads its wings, ready to strike again, embodying the raw power of spiritual magic, the ancient force known as the magic of the spirits. The hero realizes that the magic of the spirits is fundamentally different from ordinary magic. It doesn't require external processing. This unique power can be activated instantly, the moment the spirit decides to unleash it, making it far more immediate and deadly in battle. The hero braces himself as a barrage of spiritual magic attacks rain down with blinding speed, forcing him to dodge and counter with swift sword strikes. His expression is fierce, fully aware that this magic's overwhelming velocity leaves little room for error. The battlefield becomes a blur of destructive energy, emphasizing just how much faster spiritual magic is compared to ordinary spells. Wounded but unyielding, the hero struggles to rise as the massive dragon looms overhead, its many wings casting a dark shadow. Gritting his teeth, he steadies himself, gripping his sword tightly, determination blazing in his eyes. With a fierce roar, he launches himself forward, ready to face the beast once more. Amidst the chaos, a tender moment unfolds as the hero embraces Lisa, his resolve clear despite the chains that bind them. Memories of support and hope intertwine with the harsh reality of their struggle, reflecting his determination to stand by her dream no matter the cost. The image of a younger Lisa smiling gently reminds him of the promise he's fighting to uphold. The protagonist reflects on the people who have cared for him, acknowledging that despite her rough exterior, she is undeniably a good person. Memories of Anri-sensei and Norin-sensei's kindness fill his mind, their support shining through the moments captured around him. This quiet gratitude strengthens his resolve as he embraces the bonds that have shaped him. The protagonist reflects on his tendency to doubt and hesitate, even when Lisa tries to teach him not to judge based on rumors. Memories of past interactions and conversations swirl around him, highlighting his inner struggle. Despite the critical moment, he feels powerless, overwhelmed by his own limitations. Just as the protagonist finds himself cornered, his master bursts through the chaos, fiercely protecting him with a swift strike. Despite the master's usual confidence in handling magical beasts, even they recognize the severity of the situation. The master admits to losing sight of the pupil in the fog and rushing to find him, revealing the danger is greater than anticipated. The terrifying figure before them is revealed as the legendary Dragon King, Tiamat, unmistakable with his jet-black body and 5 differently colored wings. The master, visibly shaken, admits never expecting to face such a monster at this stage, explaining that Tiamat once devoured his own kind and was sealed away 5,000 years ago. The gravity of the encounter sinks in as the protagonist and his master confront this ancient, fearsome beast. The master grimly reveals the terrifying truth about Tiamat, the Dragon King who vanished 5,000 years ago after being sealed for devouring his own kind and earning the title Heresy of Heresies. Despite his injuries, the master urges the protagonist to escape while he distracts the monstrous foe, determined to buy time against this godly creature. The master, wounded but resolute, orders the protagonist to run away without hesitation, warning that staying together means certain death, as the master charges forward with fierce determination. The protagonist screams out in desperation. With intense focus, the master unleashes a powerful attack, the Phantom Blade. The master's Phantom Blade slashes fiercely, but the Dragon King remains unscathed. Its scales impervious to the attack, frustration flashes in the protagonist's eyes as she realizes their efforts won't harm the ancient beast. The monstrous dragon growls menacingly, unfazed, while a swirling storm of energy surrounds them both. With a single, precise strike, she slices through 5 light rays, then uses her chi to shatter 10 more. She follows up by blowing apart an attack of 20 light rays, but the relentless waves of energy keep coming, showing no sign of stopping. With no hands left, she resorts to using the sheath of her sword, but the number of light rays she can stop with one strike begins to dwindle. As her chi rapidly depletes, the impact takes its toll, and she struggles to keep the relentless Dragon King occupied. The monstrous power of the beast leaves her barely holding on. The protagonist's body begins to betray her as exhaustion sets in. Her arm muscles ache, and she starts losing control. Numbness spreads through her skin and arms, while her senses dull one by one, leaving her disoriented amid the fading sounds and smells of battle, frustrated and self-critical. She admits she's become weaker from neglecting training, feeling useless compared to even her unskilled disciple. Her vision blurs as she feels herself slipping closer to death, resigned to escaping the pain of her failures. Yet, memories of her time with her disciple surface, revealing a bittersweet truth. She's grown to cherish those moments more than she expected, despite the emptiness in her heart. A faint hope lingers that saving her disciple might not be impossible after all. Summoning every last ounce of strength, she shouts desperately for her disciple to flee, calling them an idiot for hesitating. Behind her, a barrage of deadly projectiles rains down, shaking the ground with explosive force. The enemy, fierce and relentless, growls as the chaos unfolds around them. With a fierce strike, the enemy unleashes their chi ability. Light Destroyer, sending a powerful blast through the ground. This energy erupts beneath the protagonist, lifting them into the air and threatening to obliterate them with overwhelming force. Among all the enemy's abilities, this one boasts the greatest range and destructive power, making escape nearly impossible. Just as the devastating chi ability, Light Destroyer, is about to strike, its power suddenly fades due to a rapid depletion of chi. The protagonist, caught in the blast's path, struggles to stay upright, shouting "Stop!" In a desperate plea, the overwhelming energy dissipates, leaving the ground scorched but the threat momentarily halted. The protagonist crashes violently to the ground, his body battered and weak. Suddenly, he begins to vomit uncontrollably, gasping and choking as his condition rapidly deteriorates. His body temperature drops sharply, signaling a dangerous turn in the battle. Surrounded by the presence of death, the protagonist's body weakens as blood loss impairs his brain functions. The pain is harsher than any previous attack, and he's too drained to even recall memories. As the cruel reality closes in, a desperate thought crosses his mind. Am I going to die? The protagonist's refusal to accept death ignites a hidden power within him, breaking free from the stagnant ice in his heart. Amidst the pain and despair, his desperate will to survive surges forth, fueled by the raw determination not to give up. In this moment, the harsh reality sharpens his resolve, awakening a fierce desperation to live. Summoning every ounce of his fading strength, the protagonist channels his will to survive, igniting a fierce inner fire that refuses to be extinguished. His battered body trembles with determination as he prepares to push beyond his limits. The fight for life burns brighter than ever within him. Nozomu's concentration reaches its peak, sharpening his perception and drastically heightening his sense of time. With this newfound clarity, he launches a fierce attack against the monstrous foe, moving faster than ever before. Yet, despite his efforts, he realizes his strike is still too slow. Despite his fierce determination, the protagonist feels an overwhelming slowness, as if his entire body is bound by heavy metal chains. This crushing weight prevents him from moving forward, fueling his frustration as he questions why he's always this slow. The chains symbolize the invisible force holding him back, even as he fights with everything he has. The metal chains, seemingly unbreakable, shatter effortlessly as the protagonist screams with raw determination. Though no one believed he could break free, these shining chains were a manifestation of his own imagination. Unlike others, he was fully aware of their existence and confident in his power to break free. A powerful force hurtles through the air, smashing into a rocky cliffside with devastating impact. Nearby, A fierce dragon reacts with surprise as the sheer speed of the attack catches it off guard. The intensity of the acceleration leaves no time for defense, shifting the battle's momentum dramatically. In the blink of an eye, the dragon loses sight of the protagonist as a swift, precise strike is unleashed. The hero draws a blade forged from compressed chi, thinner and sharper than a single strand of hair, his phantom blade ready to cut through the chaos. The dragon's cornea withstands the strike, moving as fast as the swung sword but refusing to be sliced. This reveals the creature's animalistic instincts, as it fiercely roars and defends its sensory organs just like any living being would. Despite being a spiritual entity, the dragon's physical body reacts instinctively to protect itself from harm. Tiamat slams the ground with overwhelming force, triggering a massive earthquake that shatters the earth beneath it. The shockwave ripples through the battlefield as the dragon's roar echoes powerfully. Yet, amidst the chaos, something unexpected is about to unfold. As the ground crumbled beneath the dragon's massive stomp, it revealed an underground cave shattered by the impact. Until now, Nozomu struggled to move freely amidst the violent tremors, but he managed to protect himself from the harsh landing and quickly regained his footing. Before Nozomu could even take 3 steps, Tiamat, the formidable king of spirits with extraordinary magical power, began casting a devastating spell aimed at erasing him from existence. The dragon's immense presence loomed as it unleashed its overwhelming force, intent on wiping out the protagonist in a single strike. Nozomu, having broken free from the restraints of his suppressed power, charges forward at incredible speed. With fierce determination, he shouts, "I won't let you." As he confronts the overwhelming force unleashed by Tiamat, the battlefield trembles under the impact of his swift advance. Shino's light destroyer shields Nozomu's dash, repelling some impacts and deflecting the deadly light rays. This protection carves a path between him and Tiamat, allowing Nozomu to move at a speed faster than Shino has ever achieved. His fierce scream echoes as he pushes forward with unstoppable momentum. The dragon's breath, a form of spiritual magic, erupts with devastating force, unleashed without the need for spells or circles. Its raw power shakes the battlefield as the creature grows furious at the human's defiance. The beast's rage intensifies, pushing it to the brink of madness. Tiamat channels all his power into his radiant 5-colored wings, preparing a cataclysmic attack fueled by his desire to destroy the world he feels trapped in. The overwhelming energy stirs shock and fear in those who witness it. As the sky glows ominously, a massive, intricate magical circle erupts beneath the protagonist, radiating immense power. The ground trembles with each thunderous step as the energy surges, signaling the unleashing of a devastating spell. The overwhelming force hints at a decisive moment about to unfold. The magical circle pulses with blinding light, its intricate runes glowing fiercely as the energy intensifies. Suddenly, a powerful force begins to descend rapidly, shaking the earth beneath with an unstoppable momentum. The atmosphere crackles with tension, signaling the imminent impact of a devastating attack. The world itself was forged to seal away Tiamat, activating a hidden mechanism whenever the dragon strayed from its path. Shocked, the characters realized the planet might be trying to suppress Tiamat's overwhelming power on its own. This revelation hints at a deeper, ancient control woven into the very fabric of their reality. Tiamat, now weakened by the sealing process, has been reduced to the strength of an S-ranked adventurer. Despite this, the dragon still poses a formidable threat as the disciple charges forward with fierce determination. The urgency in her voice cuts through the chaos, pushing him to act without hesitation. With fierce resolve, the disciple unleashes his phantom blade. Slicing through the scales just below Tiamat's throat, the compressed chi within the blade detonates inside the dragon's throat, shattering the area with explosive force. His sword swings with precision, guided as if a clear path had been laid before him. Nozomu strikes decisively at the exposed skin, his blade cutting through with fierce precision, harnessing the momentum from his first attack. He spins his body around for another powerful swing. The dragon roars in pain, its scales bending under the relentless assault. The disciple drives his blade deep into the dragon's throat, blood splattering as the wound bursts open. The dragon lets out a deafening roar of agony, its massive body trembling from the devastating strike. The fierce assault leaves the beast reeling, struggling to maintain its ground against the relentless attack. Despite the severe damage, the great dragon struggles to shake off the relentless Nozomu, summoning every ounce of strength left. The protagonist grips his sword lodged deep in the beast's body, channeling his chi into his right arm as he declares, "This is the end." Unleashing his ultimate chi ability, Light Destroyer, the protagonist channels a powerful flow of energy through his sword, unleashing a blast comparable to a high-level magic spell. The force shatters the dragon's scales and sends fragments flying as the beast reels from the overwhelming impact. The dragon's jaws snap shut in a desperate attempt to retaliate, but the relentless assault leaves it vulnerable. Nozomu's ultimate strike erupts with overwhelming force, shattering the dragon's head and severing the vital bundle of nerves within. The beast's lifeless body slumps as the devastating attack seals its fate. The protagonist slowly regains consciousness, questioning if what he's experiencing is a dream. A concerned woman leans close, surprised to see him awake, but his panic quickly erupts as he recoils, shouting "Monster!" in fear. Despite his fear, the woman scolds him for his reaction, reminding him she's cared for his wounds for 3 whole days. The protagonist reflects on how, though it felt like minutes, 3 days have passed since his battle with Tiamat. He's now recovering in his master's simple cabin, furnished with only the bare essentials for daily life. The protagonist, still wrapped in bandages, quietly thanks his master for treating his wounds, bowing in gratitude. She responds with a teasing scowl, reminding him of the needless worry he caused her. Despite his lingering discomfort from the strong medicine, he gently asks if she is all right and if she has any injuries. The woman assures him she's fine despite overusing her chi, waving off his concern. She then shifts the conversation, revealing she has important information about his current condition after closely monitoring him for 3 days. The protagonist listens intently, suddenly alert and ready to hear what she must say. The woman begins explaining the truth behind the protagonist's battle, revealing he defeated Tiamat within a sealed world, a realm created by dragons to imprison the Dragon King of Ruin. Though Tiamat was thought to be a mere legend, the existence of this sealed world is even more uncertain, leaving them questioning how humans ended up there at all. The woman reveals to Nozomu that by defeating Tiamat and absorbing his power, he has become a true dragon slayer, a legendary title unseen for centuries. The weight of this revelation sinks in as he realizes the magnitude of his new identity. The woman explains that these legendary beings, inheritors of immense power and strength, once wielded spells beyond known magic and awakened superhuman abilities. Their last recorded appearance was 300 years ago, coinciding with the founding of the Cremazone Empire, and it is said they no longer exist. The realization hits him hard. He truly is a dragon slayer, a legendary warrior thought to have vanished centuries ago. As the weight of this new identity sinks in, the woman presents him with a katana, revealing it once belonged to her master, hinting at its significance to his newfound path. Caught off guard, the protagonist struggles to draw his sword as the woman swiftly attacks, forcing him into a desperate clash. Despite his fear and pain, he summons his strength to block her strike, realizing the fight will push him to his limits. The woman explains that although his physical abilities have increased after becoming a dragon slayer, his power output and chi are still suppressed, limiting his instantaneous movement. She reveals that dragon slayers inherit the dragon's power, but until now, they had to rely on footwork and breathing techniques to compensate. Despite this, she notes he hasn't grown much stronger yet, suggesting his current state is due to his ability suppression. The woman reminds him of the intense ability suppression still holding him back, questioning if he can break free like he did during his fight with Tiamat. The protagonist, gripping the cross tightly, recalls the chains that bind him and summons the will to release himself from these restraints. As the chains begin to glow and loosen, a surge of determination flashes in his eyes. The woman acknowledges the rarity of breaking free from ability suppression, emphasizing the protagonist's exceptional power that inevitably draws dangerous forces like status, glory, envy, and man-eating fiends toward him. As she questions his next move, he contemplates the heavy burden his strength attracts and what path he will choose to take. The woman presses the protagonist with a serious question, urging him to decide his next move now that his power is stirring. His face twists with a mix of fear and urgency, knowing that once his ability fully awakens, there will be no turning back. The weight of his choice hangs heavily in the air as she asks again what path he will take from this moment onward. The woman confronts him with harsh truths, insisting he has no reason to grow stronger and reminding him that the girl he loves no longer reciprocates his feelings. Despite his desire to support her, she points out his refusal to use the techniques taught at the academy, challenging his resolve and the path he's chosen. She warns him that the only reason he would fall so far is if he refuses to face reality and simply gives up. Her piercing gaze drives home the harsh truth he must confront if he hopes to move forward. Though he resisted those who rejected him, isolation twisted his reasons for seeking strength. Alone and unsupported, he broke his own oath, using his desire to grow not as resolve, but as a means to escape his harsh reality. He clung to the promise of supporting Lisa's dream, staying at the academy under that pretense while focusing solely on sword training. Yet, his failure to confront the true source of his struggles, the person at the heart of his pain, reveals the cracks in his resolve. The woman urges him to focus on healing his wounds first, warning that with his injuries, returning to town safely is unlikely. She insists he rest at the cabin for the day, hinting that soon he'll face a crucial choice. Meanwhile, the protagonist remains caught in his past, unable to fully grasp the present or envision his future clearly. The woman finally reveals there's something important she hasn't told him yet, catching the protagonist off guard. As she pulls him into an unexpected embrace, her words, "Welcome back," carry a weight that hints at deeper truths waiting to surface. As she embraces him, her soft reassurance, "You've fought well," pierces through his guarded heart, stirring a mix of relief and vulnerability. Yet, he notices the toll this moment has taken on her too, with dark circles shadowing her eyes and her breath coming unevenly, hinting at the sacrifices hidden beneath her calm exterior. The protagonist's eyes well with tears as he realizes the woman's quiet strength. She has been by his side, tending to him through it all. Their shared embrace speaks volumes, a silent acknowledgement of pain, care, and unspoken bonds. With a trembling voice, he finally admits, I'm back." Exhausted beyond measure, the protagonist finally succumbs to sleep, his tears still fresh as he rests against the woman who has stood by him. The dragon's voice reminds them both that his mind and body desperately need this respite, while she quietly reflects on the unimaginable strain he has endured as the first dragon slayer in centuries. Shino hails from a distant island nation in the Far East, born into the prestigious Makagura family renowned for their swordplay. Raised as the second daughter, she was immersed in rigorous training from a young age, supported wholeheartedly by her family despite societal doubts about a woman wielding a sword. With her older sister's unwavering support, Shino's talent quickly blossomed, fueled by her father's guidance and her mother's approval. Shino's military victories earned her high praise and a personal commendation from the nation's top noble. Soon after, her beloved sister introduced her to a young man destined to become her disciple, sparking a love that quickly blossomed into an engagement. At the height of her happiness, Shino was blessed with true love and honor, standing proudly as a member of a notable family. Just as Shino was about to exchange marriage sake with her groom, a baseless accusation of adultery erupted, throwing the ceremony into turmoil. Despite her protests and claims of innocence, the marriage was abruptly called off due to fabricated evidence. A year later, she uncovered who truly framed her. But by then, no one would believe her. Consumed by jealousy and rage, a woman violently confronts Shino, vowing to strip her of everything: her status, her honor, and any chance at happiness. She declares that Shino no longer belongs in the family, and that nobody will come to her defense or save her from the ruin she's about to face. With a cold, cruel smile, the woman brushes Shino's hair aside, taunting her with a final farewell and a promise to live happily with the man Shino lost. As she turns and walks away, Shino collapses to the floor, overwhelmed by despair. 3 days later, she quietly leaves the Makagura family without a word, vanishing into the unknown. Shino fled her past, leaving everything behind to live alone in the untouched forest of Spasm. Though initially resentful of someone who mirrored her own abandonment, she slowly began to see their shared pain. Now, her feelings are shifting, stirring something new within her. The protagonist struggles with the harsh reality of death-sleep disease, feeling his chi fading beyond recovery. As he leans into the comforting embrace, he reflects on how this illness slowly drains the very core of life, leaving nothing but a dwindling spark. The weight of his condition presses heavily, a silent countdown to an inevitable end. The mentor, with a heavy heart, admits there's more to say beyond sword techniques, acknowledging the harsh truths of their world and the elusive cure for death-sleep disease. Despite the looming despair, they vow to share one final, important message and to fight with all their strength until that moment comes. The weight of unspoken words hangs between them, promising a revelation yet to come. 1 week later, the group finally arrives at the imposing gates of Alchazam. The protagonist thanks his companion for accompanying him, while she humbly insists it's only natural to care for her injured master. The journey has reached a new chapter as they step into the fortress. The protagonist reflects on how his master's healing methods differ from ordinary potions, enhancing natural recovery without strain. He notices her unusual behavior, stumbling over words and showing a rare caring side, even accompanying him on this visit. As they enter the massive city of Alchazam, a tentative conversation begins about the master's first time here and the unexpected time they'll spend together. As they hurry through the bustling market streets of Alchazam, the vibrant energy of the city surrounds them. Curiosity sparks as they marvel at the exotic goods, bright red powders and seeds shaped like cat's claws. reminding the protagonist of his own first awe in this place. Together, they continue onward, taking in the lively atmosphere and the unexpected moments shared between them. Arriving at a grand, imposing building, the protagonist acknowledges the moment with quiet resolve before bowing respectfully to his master and announcing his return to the forest. She immediately reminds him of his responsibilities, warning about his absences and the looming final exams, then insists he visit her cabin after classes to discuss important matters, despite his nervousness. It's clear their bond deepens as they face the challenges ahead together. The protagonist, surprised and eager, presses his master for more information, but she firmly insists that the time to reveal everything hasn't come yet. With a knowing smile, she gently chides him about being late and decides to walk around alone, expressing a bittersweet sentiment about no longer having her disciple by her side. The pressure of Salmanati Academy's final exams weighs heavily on the protagonist, as the results of both the practical and written tests determine each student's rank for the next year. For someone like him, who usually struggles with low grades, the stakes are especially high. Poor performance could mean being held back or even forced to drop out. Despite his unexplained absences raising some suspicion, the other students avoid drawing attention, and the topic quickly fades away as morning. Classes come to an end. During lunch break in the staff room, the teacher confronts the protagonist about his week-long unexcused absences. Suspecting he's hiding something, flustered, he tries to downplay it, explaining he was injured after being attacked by a monster in the forest. She presses for details, determined to know exactly what kind of monster it was and where the attack happened. The teacher presses him further, questioning why he didn't notify the academy about his absence despite living in the dorms. He nervously admits to being bedridden with a fever, too weak to move or reach out, and quietly reveals his loneliness. Feeling uncared for by his classmates, though burdened by guilt, he struggles to confess the real reason behind his disappearance. The teacher's frustration boils over as she tearfully accuses him of not trusting her, questioning if she's really that unreliable in his eyes. The protagonist is caught off guard, struggling to defend himself as she presses him relentlessly about the truth behind his injuries and the suspicious medicine he was given. Caught off guard by her close, tearful plea, the protagonist feels the weight of her dangerous beauty and the unspoken power she holds over him. Despite his inner turmoil, he's drawn to her sincerity, realizing she unknowingly seduces without effort. As she softly begs him to open up, he's left stunned, caught between hesitation and the urge to trust her. The tension breaks as the scene shifts to a lighter moment, with the girls sitting casually on a bench, discussing whether the misunderstanding with Nozomu has been resolved. Their relaxed posture contrasts sharply with the earlier intensity, hinting at a temporary reprieve from the protagonist's inner turmoil. The protagonist reveals he recently spoke with Nozomu, hinting that something significant happened between them. The girls casually discuss how he's been absent during lunch breaks and after school, with one expressing concern about not seeing him lately. Despite her efforts to wait for him at the entrance, he remains elusive, deepening the mystery around his recent absence. The girls notice a surprising change in Iris, who seems unusually concerned about a male student, something none of them have seen before. As the school bell rings, signaling the start of classes, the atmosphere shifts back to reality. The protagonist quietly calls out to his elder sister, breaking the moment. The girl shyly asks if she can invite Nozomu to her next birthday party, explaining that he helped her retrieve the bracelet and she wants to repay him. Despite the party being private, she admits she doesn't understand what happened to Nozomu but senses a loneliness behind his smile. At first driven by mere curiosity, she gradually began to sympathize with him after witnessing the weight of his struggles. Though unaware of his past, she senses the loneliness behind his smile and wishes for her friends to find even a small moment of happiness. Her frustration grows from not yet having cleared up the misunderstandings between them. With a gentle smile, the elder sister promises to talk to Nozomu and clear up the misunderstanding before inviting him to the birthday party. The younger girl beams with gratitude, relieved by the heartfelt reassurance. Meanwhile, the teacher's assistant, Enri, watches quietly from a distance, her gaze sharp and unreadable. The Rank 10 classes have only one assistant instructor each, unlike Rank 1 classes that have several. These assistants often participate actively in lessons, helping out when needed, especially during afternoon practicals like the ritual magic demonstration. The day ends with mock battles, where the students put their skills to the test. The confident challenger mocks the protagonist for facing him once again, but the hero remains calm, acknowledging his injuries are healing and his movements are improving. As he swings the practice sword, he notes the familiar feeling, a sign that he's regaining his strength and skill. Despite the taunts, a determined glint shines in his eyes, hinting at something more to come. The chains wrapped around him begin to glow and strain as he clenches his fist, feeling the power within him ready to break free. Though the urge to release it is strong, he holds back, recalling the uneasy feeling from his dream and deciding now is not the time. Deep inside, something is on the verge of breaking, but his resolve remains firm. As the challenger accuses him of ignoring the Academy's teachings, the protagonist contemplates whether to unleash the chi techniques learned from his master. Despite the pressure, a faint smile crosses his face as he steels himself for the battle ahead. With a calm voice, he signals the start. Now begin. The opponent launches a fierce overhead sword strike, taunting the protagonist to just accept defeat. But our hero quickly realizes the attack was a feint and braces for the real move. Our hero swiftly counters, blocking the true strike with precision, catching the opponent off guard. The challenger's surprise is clear as the clash intensifies. Both fighters locked in a fierce exchange. The momentum shifts as the protagonist presses forward with renewed determination. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock as the opponent blocks his most powerful swing with sheer skill. Frustration flickers across his face as he quickly recovers, preparing to counterattack. The battle escalates with both fighters fiercely exchanging blows, neither willing to yield. Seizing the moment, the protagonist launches a fierce punch that lands squarely on the opponent's chest, sending him reeling backward. The challenger's expression shifts to shock as he struggles to regain his footing. The hero's relentless assault continues, closing the distance with unwavering focus. The opponent lashes out with a fierce warning, his voice filled with venom as he urges the hero not to get cocky. The protagonist's eyes narrow, sensing the danger as the clash intensifies once more. Both fighters charge at each other, their resolve burning brighter than ever. The opponent, fueled by fury, unleashes a powerful chi technique called Dustwind Blade, enveloping his sword in a fierce wind capable of tearing through anything. His eyes burn with determination as he vows to crush the hero to pieces, pushing his energy to the limit. The hero senses the overwhelming chi and braces for the devastating attack. The hero analyzes the Dustwind Blade technique, understanding it generates a high-density, compressed wind that intensifies the power and speed of slashing attacks. This fierce shroud of wind can unilaterally blow away enemies with weak defense or attack. As the opponent unleashes a diagonal slash, the hero braces for the overwhelming force. The hero carefully observes the opponent's repetitive attack pattern. Noting a left swipe in the Dustwind Blade technique, confident at this distance, he realizes the wind blade can be dodged and begins to anticipate the next moves. With sharp focus, he reads 2 or 3 attacks ahead, preparing to counter. The hero's sword unexpectedly fails to reach the opponent, leaving him confused and alarmed. Meanwhile, the protagonist remains calm, protected by Mars' ability, the Wind Spirit's protection, which significantly enhances his power and precision with wind-based spells and chi techniques. The hero realizes this is not the same opponent he faced before, as his usual clumsy moves are now replaced by flawless defense and attacks. The hero reflects on how ability suppression would have left him defenseless against a downward slash. Even with his chi enhancement, now, empowered by becoming a dragon slayer, his physical abilities have slightly increased, allowing him to fend off attacks without losing his stance. This newfound strength gives him the confidence to stand firm against his opponent's relentless assault. The protagonist acknowledges that he can now wield the techniques taught by his master, boosted further by the Dustwind Blade's power and speed. Despite this, he hasn't found an opening to counterattack yet, though he can predict his opponent's sword moves 5 steps ahead. His opponent, a confident rank 10 fighter, is shocked that someone so low-ranked can see through his attacks. The protagonist realizes he can finally fight on his own terms, a confident smile breaking through as he embraces his newfound strength. Meanwhile, his opponent's shock deepens, grappling with the fact that his ability suppression sets strict limits on his power. Yet the hero's skill and training have allowed him to surpass those constraints. The chains symbolizing these limits seem to shatter as the battle intensifies, highlighting the hero's relentless determination. Refusing to back down, the opponent snarls in defiance, determined not to accept defeat. With a fierce battle cry, he launches a powerful, sweeping strike aimed at the protagonist. Seizing the moment, the hero prepares to counterattack, eyes locked on his foe as the clash intensifies. The opponent's sweeping strike kicks up a fierce gust, sending debris flying as the wind shifts unexpectedly. Realizing the move was deliberate, the hero's eyes widen in shock and frustration. Caught off guard by this cunning tactic, the battle's intensity surges as the hero struggles to adapt to the sudden change in the environment. The hero unleashes the Dust Splitter Ram, a powerful chi technique derived from the Dustwind Blade. Simultaneously, he prepares to execute the Flash Step, a high-level growth-type technique requiring precise muscle control, balance, and agility to maximize its force and fluidity. His focused gaze reveals his determination to master these complex movements in perfect harmony. The hero channels the wind blade into a concentrated, powerful ram that surges forward like a battering force. His opponent, caught off guard, struggles to track the sudden, swift movement. The battlefield is swept by the fierce energy of the attack, leaving the foe desperate and confused. The intense standoff is captured in their locked gazes, each warrior fully aware of the other's next move. The hero steadies himself, poised and ready to strike, while the opponent watches cautiously, sweat betraying his growing tension. The battlefield lies scarred beneath them, a silent witness to their fierce confrontation. The hero's attack is suddenly interrupted as he narrowly dodges a swift counterstrike. His eyes wide with shock, the tension spikes as the enemy's blade flashes dangerously close, forcing a desperate reaction. Both warriors brace themselves, the battle's intensity reaching a critical turning point. The ringing of a bell signals the end of the mock battle, catching everyone's attention. The hero sheathes his sword with a swift motion, while the opponent, still catching his breath, looks on. The instructor announces that with final exams approaching, today's class is officially over. As the hero abruptly excuses himself and rushes away, a concerned voice calls after him. But he's already gone, left behind. The other warrior clenches his fist, troubled by a vague, unsettling feeling and questioning why the hero's presence irritates him so deeply. The other warrior admits he understands the hero's strength, but resents how easily he accepts his struggles. Yet, deep down, he can't stand those who manipulate from the shadows, and he realizes the hero has been fighting harder than anyone else, surpassing limits despite his ability suppression. This revelation shakes him, forcing him to confront his own feelings toward the hero. The other warrior grapples with the shocking realization that the hero's earlier actions were never mere distractions. He's been far stronger all along, hiding his true power in plain sight. Meanwhile, a determined young woman notices the rank 10s are out training and decides to wait by the front gate, hoping for a chance to meet the hero herself. The young woman catches sight of a sword and calls out to Nozomu, urging him to wait. Despite her effort, he rushes past her, leaving her breathless and frustrated that she couldn't speak to him. As she watches him disappear, she wonders why he was in such a hurry. Our hero senses something troubling as someone who had stayed away from Al-Khazam suddenly ventured into the city, urging him to return. This unexpected move hints that the battle with Tiamat might have impacted their master in a serious way. Meanwhile, an older figure calmly acknowledges the protagonist's arrival, breaking the tension with a simple greeting. The woman casually invites the protagonist to join her, teasing him about his weakness for alcohol and his reluctance to refuse a beautiful woman. Despite his protests, she playfully forces him into an arm lock, revealing her skilled control of force and hinting at a past filled with conflict. Their light-hearted interaction contrasts with the tension surrounding the recent battle. The protagonist playfully mocks the woman, teasing her about her fading beauty, which earns him a quick jab. They settle down together outside the house, and she suggests they talk for a while. As they converse, the master begins rambling about her homeland, her family, and her feelings for them, while also showing interest in the protagonist's story and how she came to this continent. The protagonist reflects on their simple, mundane conversation about hometowns and family, topics the master already knew but still showed genuine interest in. Despite avoiding deeper discussions, the master admits she never expected to have such a pleasant exchange again. Their bond is revealed through the master's confession that she only taught swordsmanship, leaving her disciple unprepared for anything beyond that, highlighting a connection built more on shared experience than formal lessons. The master humbly acknowledges her shortcomings as a teacher but expresses gratitude for being cherished despite her incompetence. She reflects on the cruel timing of her illness and wishes she could have lived alongside her disciple. Yet, she finds solace in knowing there is someone worthy to carry on the disciple's heart and legacy. The master solemnly declares that this will be the disciple's final lesson, one that will test everything in a serious battle to the death. The disciple, taken aback, struggles to grasp the gravity of the moment as the master prepares to yield to someone truly worthy by their side. The weight of this final challenge hangs heavily between them, signaling a profound turning point in their journey. The disciple, shocked and desperate, demands to know who the master intends to face in this deadly final battle. The master coldly responds, questioning the point of seeking reasons from someone determined to kill him. Frustration and urgency boil over as the disciple pleads for an answer, his emotions breaking through the tense silence. Without warning, the master launches a fierce, lightning-fast strike, catching the disciple completely off guard. The disciple barely manages to evade, the force of the attack sending him sprawling backward. The intensity of the battle is undeniable, as the master's skill and resolve shine through with every move. The master's sudden, powerful strike sends the disciple crashing to the ground, the impact shaking the earth beneath them, struggling to recover. The disciple clutches his side in pain, his expression a mix of shock and confusion. The master's cold gaze pierces through the tension as he demands, "What the hell are you trying to do?" Despite the master's harsh training and refusal to answer questions, the disciple realizes she's never truly tried to kill him. No matter how deadly her methods seemed, flashbacks reveal her relentless, one-sided lectures and unreasonable demands whenever he spoke back. Now, locked in fierce combat, the disciple's determined gaze sharpens as he braces for another intense strike. The master's relentless barrage of precise, consecutive strikes forces the disciple to defend with every ounce of strength. No matter how efficiently he moves his entire body, each attack relentlessly targets his arm. The disciple grits his teeth, enduring the punishing blows as the clash intensifies. The disciple lunges forward with fierce determination, her blade cutting through the air as the master counters with equal speed and precision. Their swords clash violently, sparks flying as each strike tests their limits. Despite sharing the same school of swordsmanship, their differences in experience, physical abilities, and skills become starkly apparent in this relentless duel beneath the moonlit forest. The disciple narrowly dodges a swift, powerful strike, frustration clear in his eyes. The master's technique blends swordsmanship with martial arts, delivering a devastating kick that forces him to block desperately. Her sheath, enhanced with chi, glints as it swings with lethal force, capable of shattering bones with ease. The impact of each blow weakens, yet her attacks grow increasingly relentless and dense. The gap in skill and capability between the disciple and master remains clear. Seizing an opening, the disciple launches a fierce dual-wielding counterattack, striking with all his might. The disciple focuses his chi precisely at the point of impact, trying to withstand the overwhelming force, but his arm begins to go numb, struggling against the pain. He knows he must absorb some of the blow's energy to survive. Determined, he braces himself, realizing he must lessen the impact even slightly to keep fighting. The disciple's body reels from the brutal impact, feeling as if his organs have been twisted inside out. Realizing that shallow techniques won't be enough, he steels himself for a deeper, more decisive strike. With fierce determination, he launches a powerful attack, aiming to turn the tide of the battle. With unwavering resolve, the disciple decides to gamble everything on his most trusted technique. He grips his sword tightly, launching himself forward with fierce determination. Shouting the name of his attack, he unleashes the Phantom Blade, aiming to break through his master's defense. The disciple's fierce Phantom Blade attack surges forward with immense speed and power, aiming to break through the master's defense. But in a swift, fluid motion, the master counters, effortlessly canceling out the strike. The clash of their blades sends sparks flying, leaving the disciple stunned by the unexpected resistance. The disciple's eyes widen in shock as he realizes the unexpected strength of his master's counterattack. He stumbles backward, sweat dripping down his face. Overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events, the word, "crap," escapes him, revealing his growing desperation. The disciple is pierced through the chest, blood spurting violently as he staggers from the devastating counterattack. Despite the pain, he clenches his teeth, realizing that to match his Phantom Blade, his opponent must strike with a chi blade on the exact same trajectory he used. The tension rises as both prepare for the next deadly move. The master delivers a precise, decisive strike that forces the disciple to stagger back, blood splattering on the ground. The disciple's eyes widen in realization and despair as he admits silently, "I can't win." Meanwhile, the master commands, "Release your ability suppression, Nozomu," signaling a critical turning point in their battle. The disciple, bloodied and exhausted, struggles to hold on to hope as the master coldly reminds him that only by releasing his ability suppression can he stand a chance. His eyes flicker with desperation and doubt, haunted by a distant memory of a dream that might be his last hope. Despite the pain and uncertainty, he knows this is his only chance to turn the tide. The protagonist contemplates the nature of his suppressed power, realizing that its soul might still live within him despite its body being dead. He wonders if the ability suppression also stifles the spirit itself, a unique trait of this power. Torn between desperation and caution, he acknowledges that to defeat his master, he must tear off this suppression, but doing so risks unleashing the dangerous force of Tiamat within him. His resolve wavers as he confronts the unshakable will and deep resentment tied to this power. The protagonist's body falters under the relentless assault, his vision blurring and senses fading as if sinking into a cold, dark sea. Sounds grow distant, and his limbs lose all sensation, signaling the creeping shadow of death closing in. Despite the pain, A voice cuts through his fading consciousness, questioning his hesitation in this critical moment. The master's expression softens with a rare vulnerability, hinting at a deep sorrow as she admits her time is running out. Despite her stoic facade, she reveals to the protagonist that she's suffering from death-sleep disease, likely contracted during her battle with Tiamat. The weight of her impending death hangs heavy, leaving both of them to grapple with the harsh reality that only one more night remains for her. The master reveals the painful truth behind her illness, explaining that despite knowing the disease well, she couldn't control her body's chi to extend her life. She confesses her tragic past, betrayed by her own family, abandoned by her parents, and rejected by those around her, forcing her to flee to this continent. The protagonist realizes how deeply their lives mirror each other, especially after recalling how she once spoke of her family with happiness despite the betrayal. She reveals how both of them fled after being betrayed and mocked, choosing isolation over facing others, living with nothing and not caring if she died. Yet, after years of solitude in the forest, everything changed when she met the protagonist. Someone who, unlike her, never gave up on life. Though it initially annoyed her how much he reminded her of herself, his resilience sparked something new within her. Tears streaming down her face, she reveals a deeply personal truth, something she's never shared with anyone else. With a trembling voice, she makes a heartfelt, final request to the protagonist, asking if he will accept her last wish after all these years of running away. The weight of her words hangs heavy, revealing the vulnerability beneath her strength.